All right, so next one. Write a SQL statement that will show all employees that have a last name that starts with A or M. Okay, so this is a bit different. This is what we call fuzzy logic. Well, very rudimentary, or the beginnings of fuzzy logic. This means that we don't want to return something with an exact match. We want to be able to have something that's approximately like what we're looking for. So it's not too hard to get started. Let's paste the requirements in here. Display last name, first name, and performance. So let's start with getting our field selection right. Performance, okay. From employee, now we're not going to need anything from the location table, so we can get rid of our join for now. Although, don't get comfortable, we're going to come back to that and do a lot of joins from here on out. But our criteria here is now last name, and we don't want the equal sign because we don't want something that's an exact match. We want something that is like something else. So we use the keyword like. And by the way, I should have mentioned this earlier. We've been organizing this SQL on separate lines. SQL ignores white space. I could put all these things up here on the same line and it would work just fine. But it is a whole lot easier to read SQL if we break it out into lines like this. So you can break yours out however you want, whatever is simplest and easiest for you. Anyway, so keyword like. Now we're working with text. We still want double quotes. So let's start with A. However, instead of writing out a last name, we're going to use the % symbol. So this means it has to start with A. A has to be the first character, but there can be nothing or as many characters as you want after the A. That's what that % sign means. So let's grab all this out of the way and let's run it and see if it works so far. Okay, there we go. We've got Adams and Adamson. Both of them start with A and nothing else. So something surprising that we haven't done yet that we're going to do now is have more than one criteria. So the SQL said, or the requirement said, it can start with A or M, right? Last name that starts with A or M. So we can write this a couple of ways. I can put or right here, so we can use an and or an or operator. Or says it can be either of these things to put it in the results. So we say or last name like M%. There we go. So some people, when we have multiple criteria, prefer to break the criteria down onto a couple of lines. Whoops. There you go. Just space that in for readability. So you can do it that way too, or you can leave it all up on the same line if you want. All right, any other criteria? Last name that starts with A or M. I think that's it. We got the display. Oh, ordered by last name. All right, so we still have our order by. Order by is always last after every other keyword. So order by last name, and it didn't say descending, so we're just going to assume ascending. Let's run that. Okay, there we got our A's and we got all of our M's. So this might be a good time to talk about a few other ways we could use this % sign. So if we put a % in front of the A, that means that it can have anything or nothing before the A and after the A. All it has to have is an A somewhere in the results. So now notice it returns tons of things. Frank has an A in it. Charles has an A in it. Johansson. So another way we can do this, let's see if we have two very similar names. Adams and Adamson. Okay. No, that's not a good one. Oh, here we go. Marlin and Martin. Notice the only difference between them is this fourth letter. What if I want anyone with MAR first and in second? Maybe I had a customer call me up and they complained about an order that didn't show up, and I'm trying to help that customer, but I couldn't remember if they said Marlin or Martin. I want to be able to return results that have either in there. So what I could do is say Mar and then put in right here. That means that it has to start with MAR, has to end with IN, but it could have nothing or as many things as you want in the middle between those. So if I run this, I get both Marlin and Martin, but not those other M's because those didn't start with MAR and finish with IN. So when I do it like this, it means both of those criteria have to be true at once. So anyway, % signs or wildcard characters, very useful with coming up with approximate results. So I'll go back to the final version of that query though. Okay, that's it for this query.